So in my last lecture, we discussed the research process. That it's an 8-step model where you decide what to research and then you carry out planning and then conducting the research itself. And each and every major phase include the first phase includes the 1 step, and then you have a 4 steps and 3 steps. Today we're going to discuss about the research proposal or synopsis. For you people, it's a compulsion to submit a synopsis before carrying out your research. So synopsis refers to the research proposal. And the main contents of the synopsis includes the abstract, introduction, review of literature, materials and methods, and then references. That is added by a page that includes your title and your research title and the personal details. So once you have finalized a research problem, research topic for yourself, now you have to submit the research proposal that includes all these chapters. So the first section is abstract. Abstract means pull out. It's meant pull out. Normally, the size of abstract should be between 200 to 250 words. Although it's the first section of your research proposal, but normally we write abstract at the end of once we have finalized our introduction, review of literature, materials and methods, references. This is the last thing we do, that we write an abstract, because it's a pull out of our introduction, it's a pull out of our review, and it's a pull out of our methodology. So the abstract includes maybe couple of lines from your introduction. These couple of lines are your main arguments. That why you have decided for this topic. What stimulates you to choose this topic and conduct that research. So it should not be more than a couple of lines. So it's the main argument. And then you very briefly discuss about the research problem. And at the last, you need to discuss your methodology, because the abstract of the synopsis do not include anything from your search or discussion. Although the thesis also includes a section that is entitled as abstract, but in the thesis section, you also have results and discussion as well. But when it comes to the synopsis, couple of lines, introductory lines that are being backed by your research problem, 3-4 lines, and then how you will going to proceed with that thing, that is all about the methodology. So this is the section you write at the end, and you always start writing down your introduction. Can anyone tell me what we need to write in the section of introduction? Introduction means you just need to introduce your topic. There is in your voice. I can't hear you. Is there any distortion in my voice as well? Please mute your mic. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. There is someone who has unmuted the mic. Who's that section? Hina, please mute your mic. I think maybe it's Hina or Aksa. Jeria, please mute your mic. Okay. So any volunteer who wants to tell me that what we normally write when it comes to writing the introduction of our research proposal? We start, normally the introduction is normally works very same as review of literature, that it works in inverted pyramid. You start from broad and eventually narrows yourself to your research problem. So starting from broad, you just narrow yourself to your research problem. So the start of your introduction, the first paragraph relates to the significance of the problem. Why others need to read your research? Why you have decided for this topic? It's all about the significance. These few lines, they are always, if you look at any research article, that is all the first few lines, they are always about the significance of the problem. How important it is, and their significance. For example, if you look at the malarial disease, we can start by saying that, okay, each year malaria affects that million people worldwide. It's endemic in that much countries. It's a persistent problem. Each year it is killing about 1.5 million people. That's a huge punchline. If you are working with agriculture, any topic of agriculture, if you want to see any research, I want you to just read few articles. And when you are going to read few articles that are relevant for agriculture or livestock, in my country, they always start with an argument that, okay, livestock is the major sector of agriculture, contributing about 56 to 57% of the agriculture GDP. So agriculture has a added value, the livestock adds 56 to 55 to 56% value to the agriculture. So it's a major sector. That's related to the significance. Anyone who is working on any disease of livestock, who is working on the breedings of livestock, they normally starts with these arguments: significance of problem. Agriculture engages about 45% of the population. That's a huge punchline, significance. That this is important for so many people. When you will work with diseases, you need to mention that how significant that disease is. That significance. Now it's a journal, one paragraph sentence. Then the next step, you need to introduce that specific thing. For example, if I'm working on malaria, I just need to give how the malaria looks like. What's the disease we call it as malaria? So introduction of your topic. First, always starts with the significance, followed by the introduction of a topic. When it comes to the any disease, even in the disease, maybe you are working on epidemiology, there are signs and symptoms, there are certain things that are relevant for the immune system. Maybe it's about the causative agent, maybe it's about the taxonomy. So there are so many different topics. So in the next step, you just need to move forward and move forward towards specific line. If you're working on epidemiology, throw some punchlines regarding the epidemiology. What are the main significant findings that we already know? And then following that, you just need to add few things that where is gap. And you will going to identify gap through review of literature. You just need to read everything and you just need to identify that. So introduction, once again, starts from noun to unnoun. Significance, introduction of topic. You're just narrowing things, and eventually you are going to move towards your research problem that, okay, this is unknown, so I have decided to choose that topic. And these are my objectives of research. When it comes to the introduction of the synopsis, it must not be more than 2 to 3 pages. One paragraph, significance. Another paragraph, introduction of your main topic. And then third paragraph, sink into your on which lines you are working. Fourth paragraph, that where we have the contradiction, what we do not know so far. And then eventually switch to your objective that, okay, I'm moving, this is unknown. Although in certain universities, the introduction and the review are merged, and when it comes to the research articles, you do not see a separate section. Although in social sciences we have a separate section of review of literature, but in most of the natural sciences we have a single heading that is introduction, that includes both the introduction as well as the review of literature as well. When it comes to the review of literature, it's nothing else but what is already known on this topic. So I will going to switch this PPT and I will show you some real examples that how to write an introduction, whether it's a synopsis, it's a thesis, or it's anything else. Even if it is a research paper. So as you all will be enrolled in thesis, and you will all be going to write thesis or synopsis for yourself. So I will start with sharing an example from thesis of one of my students. So if you look at the topic of that research, it's the clinical. Can you see that? This is on your screen, clinical profile of cutaneous leishmaniasis in patients attended at divisional headquarters teaching hospital, Mirpur, Azad, Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was one of my students who conducted research back in it's the Zonia thesis. So I just used that thesis as an example, that how to write it, whether it's your proposal or your thesis. Most of the things, they are similar, although with thesis we just need to add few things, so it will be more comprehensive. But when it comes to the proposal, it will be little brief, but sections, they will more or less they will remain same. Just look at the first section. Introduction. So as he was working on leishmaniasis, he started his argument by using those punchlines that leishmaniasis is endemic in 98 countries. So that's one punchline. That this research has relevance from people of 98 countries. Second punchline, even within the single sentence, with an estimated 12 million human infection. That indicates the how much the infection is. That is being followed by an incidence rate. Normally, you are not the one who has just generated that data, so you use various sources, and in that section he used all those. He just mentioned that which sources he searched to get that information, and then eventually she switched to the true prevalence and incidence is uncertain because many cases go undiagnosed and unreported in areas where infection is endemic. Once again, he supported his sentence with a reference. The true prevalence, can anyone tell me what's the purpose of writing that sentence right after the significance, where he showed all those numbers? Where he showed 98 countries, where he mentioned 12 million infections, where she mentioned 1.5 to 2 million infections. Why she just backed that sentence with the true prevalence and incidence is uncertain? Because many cases go undiagnosed and unreported in areas where infection is endemic. Why? Why he added a contradictory? Because initially she mentioned all those numbers and then she followed it that sentence that shows that okay, even these numbers, they are not real. Maybe the numbers, they are higher than what's most of the people they know. Why she adds that sentence? Can you hear me properly?
सर क्योंकि ये स्टडी सैम्पलिंग करके करते हैं ना, तो हो सकता है कि कुछ जो है वो सैंपल में लिए ना गए हूँ लेकिन पॉजिटिव हूँ वो डिजीज को लेके.
Okay, most of the time we have the estimates, and they have used the word like estimates. With estimates, there are possibility of error, but that sentence is not mentioned because of that purpose. If you try to read it, he just try to increase the significance of that disease by stating that sentence. She just want to prove something, that even that number is not real. The disease is more affecting more people. That if the disease is affecting more people, that means it's more significant. So she added to the significance aspect here. Her purpose was not to just contradict with the prevalence, because she was not working on prevalence, but her purpose was to increase the significance, as she has relevant references that okay, even there are certain infections that remain undiagnosed, so maybe it's not affecting 12 million people, maybe it's affecting more people. Affecting more people, the disease is more significant. Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir, I agree.
Comfortable and answer. So these why she has decided for that topic. Why it's significant to consider the leishmaniasis. And then she backed up with another sentence, that despite of its high burden with significant morbidity and mortality, this disease has failed to find its place in the priorities of the health policymakers. Therefore, it is classified as neglected tropical disease by Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Once again, if you look at this sentence, what's the purpose of that sentence? Because it's a research methodology. Writing a research proposal is an interactive course. You just need to understand how things work. So I want you to contribute in this. that despite of its high burden with significant morbidity and mortality, this disease has failed to find its place in the priorities of health policymakers. Therefore, it is classified as neglected tropical disease by Center of Disease Control on grounds of insufficient knowledge regarding its epidemiology, ecology, clinical profile, and therapeutic aspect. What's the purpose of placing that sentence here? Once again, if you, as you read from the start, if you know that initially first argument was addressing the significant, second argument was also addressing the significant in another way, and the third argument once again significant, that people, they neglected that disease. We have insufficient knowledge regarding this disease. If we have insufficient knowledge, what's the way forward? That we need to work on that disease. That topic deserves attention. And even she backed up her argument, but not by saying herself, but saying that, okay, it's not me who is saying it, that disease is being neglected by the scientists. Rather, she used a very comprehensive source, and it's a very reliable source, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. That, okay, this disease is classified in that category, neglected tropical diseases. Once again, it's a significance why I am conducting that research. Why I am conducting that research? Because there is an insufficient knowledge regarding this. There is an insufficient knowledge, and people, they ignore that disease. So as a lot of people, they ignore this. So we do not know so much about it. So we need to know about this. As we need to know about this, so I have decided this topic. So that's significance. Do you agree with that explanation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I agree.
If you look here with another argument, but although leishmaniasis is a major health problem in many countries around the world, with an estimated 350 million people at risk, but it mainly dominates Indian subcontinent, Middle East, Africa, South America, Central and it affects the Southern Europe and Central and South America. What's the purpose of this sentence here? With those figures that, okay, estimated 350 million people at risk, but the disease mainly dominates in Indian subcontinent, Middle East, Africa, Southern Europe, Central and South America. That's once again an argument that addresses that why I have decided for this topic. Okay, although it affects 350 million, although 350 million people, they are at risk because they live in those areas where we have the endemic leishmaniasis. But still, if you look around the world, the main areas where the disease dominates is the Indian subcontinent. The purpose of mentioning that, okay, I am living in an area where this disease is very, very important. And it's one of those zones of the world where we have a significant disease. So I'm living in an area where we have this problem. So that's why I have decided for this problem. So if you look at the entire paragraph and in introduction, it's all about, and then with each sentence, she used different references. That, okay, people can verify what I am claiming is true. So that entire argument was that, okay, why I have decided for this topic, why I am conducting this research. There are millions of topics, but among them you have to choose one, and you have to tell your reader that why. She's also stressing that why a reader should read this topic. And these all arguments, they are relevant arguments. So at any time, if you want your reader to read your research, starts with the strong arguments. Why you are conducting that research. And then the second paragraph, that you next need to introduce a disease. How the leishmaniasis look like. After the significance, introduction of the topic. Introduction of the topic in an inverted pyramid. From broad to narrow. Just look at inverted triangle. So you just need to start from broad and you just need to narrow it. So she started with the leishmaniasis. Okay, leishmania is not a single disease, rather a group of disease with a wide spectrum of clinical manifestation which varies from genus, and then you have all that information. Then, although the number of different variants of this human which ranges from local skin, so she is introducing the leishmaniasis. Okay, that we have 3 clinical forms of leishmaniasis. That introduction. And from the leishmaniasis, is my voice clear? Because it's indicating me that it's a bad network. Is there any distortion in my voice? Please confirm me so that I can continue. On my screen, it's indicating that it's a poor network quality. Is it clear?
Yes sir, काफी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है आपकी आवाज.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me properly now? Yes.
No sir, अभी भी प्रॉब्लम आ रही है.
We still have a problem. Is the problem only for her? Please confirm me. So it's again indicating me poor network quality.
Sir, अब ठीक है.
It's okay now. Is anything you missed from my previous section I have discussed? You have missed? Please confirm me. It's indicating me again and again. Okay. Can I continue? Can you hear me properly? Please confirm me so that I can continue.
Yes sir.
Okay. So in the next section, she starts with the second argument that she introduced leishmaniasis. And then she switched to the cutaneous leishmaniasis. Once again, it's a narrowing of the triangle. Because as she was not working on other 2 forms of the leishmaniasis, so she eventually switched that how the cutaneous leishmaniasis looks like. And then she's telling me that, okay, these are the clinical manifestation, how leishmaniasis looks like, and then she backed up with that from where she took all that references. And then in the next section, there is information regarding the parasite, because normally when it comes to the introduction of the thesis, it must need to include 5 pages. So she has space available for her. So she is using that space, telling us about what are the causative agents and what are different species. And then she moved towards the life cycle very briefly, and then diagnosis. And then once again, she moved towards the risk factor. As she was working on the risk factor of cutaneous leishmaniasis, so in the introduction, she narrowed herself to the risk factors. And I want you to read these these arguments that a range of risk factors like host, reservoir, vector, environment contribute to the emergence and the re-emergence of leishmaniasis. Deurbanization, new settlements followed by the changing density of vector. Temperature variations, deforestation, building new dams, irrigation practices for new crops are major environmental risk factors for leishmaniasis. So here she mentioned all those risk factors. And the wars in endemic areas and the great migration imposed by men in the form of refugees further complicated the situation. The overcrowding, poor socioeconomics, the lack of interest of the major pharmaceutical companies, she's just adding all those arguments. And if you look here she is telling me, now she is moving towards the problem. That's okay, it's reported from Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, Azad Kashmir, but studies are lacking in regard of clinical profile. That's unknown. So she started from noun and moved herself towards unknown. And then she followed it with the objectives. That she's working on the prevalence and then to evaluate the clinical profile. So if you check here, I just remove it and I will going to show it that okay, let me work on this. Okay, is the PowerPoint presentation, original PowerPoint presentation is visible on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just look at things. Introduction, significance. That is followed by inverted triangle. From you just need to introduce your topic from journal to very specific. Start with journal, one sentence, followed by another thing more specific, third exactly more specific, and at the end you narrow it that to your research problem. And that's the introduction. Although in the thesis she was required to write a 5 pages introduction, so she was very much flexible with reference to the space. But if you narrow the same specific introduction to a couple of pages, you will going to see that either it's a significance and the introduction of topic, and at last it's the introduction of your research problem. Do you have any question regarding this? Is it absolutely clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. It's an assignment for you people in the next class. Please read the introduction of at least 2 to 3 research papers of your choice, at least 3. And split each and every sentence of their introduction and look how whether it's falling according to what you have a concept regarding the introduction, it's moving away from it. Is there any deviation? And from here we're going to continue in our next class. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
That's an assignment. You have to come in tomorrow's class with at least 3 papers, and you just need to write only the introduction of those 3 papers, each and every line, and then you will going to either confirm me that what I am saying is true, or there can be things that can be added to the introduction. Is it okay? Class dismissed.
Okay, sir.